It is true that in any situation a person can construct their intent either on what they can get or on what they can give. The degree to which a person constructs their intent on what they can give is the degree to which that person plays a constructive role in a group, contributes as a member of a team, and also then experiences security, fulfillment, power, and harmony in their personal lives. It must be pointed out, though, that the intent to give is not about being nice. It is about being appropriate. If, for example, a hungry child asks you for food, the appropriate thing to do would be to give the child food. If, on the other hand, you noticed somebody bullying a child, the appropriate thing to do would be to confront that bully. The quality that you would require to give food to the hungry child would be considered to be generosity, and the quality that you would require to confront the bully would be courage. Giving is therefore not about being nice. It is about acting consistently with either the generosity or the courage that is operative in the situation that you're in. Both generosity and courage are concerned with acts in the world. It makes absolutely no sense to speak about being generous unless you've actually given something, or to be courageous unless you've actually confronted something. However, it is important to note that there are internal qualities in the subject that enable one to be generous and courageous, that are consistent with generosity and courage. The inner equivalent of generosity is gratitude. To be generous doesn't mean to give with the expectation of getting something in the future. It means giving with the intent to give away. Being grateful means that you are of the view that you have received in excess of your due. It is precisely the insight that you've received in excess of your due that puts you in the position to be able to give away. The inner equivalent of courage is trust. If I do not know whether I can trust somebody, then the only way whereby I could find out that I could trust them is to take a risk with them. In other words, to do something courageous. That courageous act will give me the information that I require to know whether I could trust them or not. Having earned some trust, it would then be easier for me to take a risk with them in the future, to take a second risk with that person. In this sense, my courage enables my trust, and my trust enables my courage. Gratitude and generosity are orientated towards the past. If I'm grateful for something that has happened. If I'm generous, I give away what I have already accumulated. On the other hand, if one considers trust and courage, then it becomes apparent that these two are actually orientated towards the future. When I trust that things will go well. When I'm courageous, I don't run away as the enemy comes over the hill. This suggests that of the four categories of gratitude, generosity, trust, and courage, gratitude actually has pride of place. It is the quality that enables the rest. We've already indicated that if I am grateful, it would be easy for me to be generous. Also, if I'm grateful, if I'm convinced that I've received in excess of my due, in other words, then it is easier for me to look forward in a spirit of trust. Because when I look back into the past, I can see that things have fundamentally been going in my favor. And clearly, the trust that gets developed on the basis of having looked at the past in a spirit of gratitude makes it easy for me to look forward and take a courageous step. In this sense, we can therefore posit that all moral action, all intent to give, is based on gratitude. We can go even further to suggest that without gratitude there can be no moral action. This suggests that if the key to getting things right is to be grateful, then the key to getting things wrong is to be resentful. To be resentful means to disable one's intent to give. If I'm convinced that I've been done in the past, I would not want to give somebody else anything at all. I wouldn't trust that in the future, that things in the future would go well, and I would therefore be risk averse, if you like, try and protect myself and behave in cowardly ways. The role of a gratitude journal is to consistently rehearse to oneself the many things, the myriad of things that spontaneously go right, which do not require our own personal intervention and management of the affair. This consistent and constant reminder creates an inner climate of gratitude, which produces the abundance of spirit that enables the rest of our moral action. A gratitude journal may be as simple as recording a set number of things, maybe like 10, that have gone right within the last day or so that one can't account for on the basis of one's own ingenuity. This could be anything from a colleague being kind to one, to having had a good night's sleep, to having eyes that work and lungs that breathe, hands that function, and so on. One often finds a tremendous release of energy and of good feeling at the beginning of starting a gratitude journal. When done consistently, it quickly provides one with an overwhelming body of evidence that your life works by a mechanism and an ingenuity which is far bigger than your own ability to manage. You begin to accumulate a substantial body of first-hand information, of first-hand experiences rather, that enable you to trust life, to give easily, and to do courageous things. However, it is possible that after some time, one's journaling is experienced to be a little bit humdrum, and that it no longer has the mood effect that it had when you had first started with the journal. When this starts to occur, it is useful to do the following meditation based on reflecting on how life would be if the blessings that you had listed in your journal hadn't been there. Let's say, for example, that in this morning's journal, I indicated that I was grateful for the fact that I can breathe. This reflective technique requires me to imagine what it would be like if I could not breathe easily. What it would be like if I had to struggle for every breath. If I needed to rest every moment that and every lungful of air from the world in order to stay alive, or that I had to stay alive reliant on some artificial means to continue breathing. This imaginary exercise should be continued for as long as is necessary until one is deeply convinced on what a tremendous boon being able to breathe actually is. It may also be helpful to do this thought experiment on a number of other elements that you would have listed in your gratitude journal. In other words, you don't necessarily just do it on one. You can do it on 2 or 3 of them, if that is helpful to you. By consistently reminding yourself of what there is to be grateful for produces a deep conviction of the abundance of your life. It is that conviction that lies at the root of the intent to give, which translates into a secure and fulfilled and a constructive life with harmonious relationships with other people.